All right. So I did read a really good post on Instagram that said, you know, Bitmojis are cute and they're nice, but they're definitely not necessary to be a good teacher. So
Come on.
they're a very big fad right now in education and in ed tech. And there was a huge Twitter debate about, you know, whether Bitmoji classrooms were good or bad this summer. And a lot of people were like, you know, let people have their joy and find their joy. And there were other people that were like, you know, this is not the best use of your time. And, you know, I'm totally in the first camp. I mean, if you have the time and you want to play around with it, they're super fun. They're very engaging and they're creative. And if, you know, just know that you might wake up at 3 in the morning and want to hang Christmas lights in your Bitmoji classroom, and you will get up out of bed and add Christmas lights to your Bitmoji classroom. So know that it's time, you know, the classroom element of Bitmojis is time consuming. And so just kind of know that going in if it's something you're starting for the first time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen with you and we'll just talk through kind of a little bit. I made, so there is a slideshow and it doesn't have anything in it really yet because I'm going to just kind of build and show you. But if you do want to have this slideshow or see what I'm doing, follow along. This is the bit.ly to just grab this basically one slide right now slideshow. And then this is a link to a one-pager that I made, and I'll link the video to this too after it's processed and ready. But so I made a quick guide. This is a doc. So if you click that, you'll get to the document. And if you want to type in bit.ly/Bitmoji.
The water's about to go off for 20 minutes. So get some if you want.
That was Renee. I'm muting her. Everyone else, I'm just kind of like mute or unmute. If you want to jump in with a question, I'm feeling a little informal today. So instead of muting everybody, just kind of hop in and out, but maybe mute yourself if you're not asking a question. That usually helps. What?
Sorry, Jen, can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
It's requesting my permission to get into this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. To the doc or to the to the slideshow?
Yeah.
The doc. Okay.
Can anybody else try?
Let me go into the doc and just make sure my sharing is
Bitmoji.
Yeah.
I have to request access.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't know. It's taking a minute to load the sharing. This is. Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. If you refresh the slideshow, you should be good to go. And the doc itself, this is going to be fascinating viewing for people later who are watching this later. So
yeah, totally.
Yep, it's a good reminder to always check your sharing settings before you share anything with anyone. And I apologize every time I'm on my computer for my internet. So let's see, anyone with the internet can view that. So that should be okay, the doc. Thanks, Ab.
Got it.
Okay, so maybe I'll just start here. And you know, the first thing you're gonna wanna do if you wanna create one of these amazing creations is you wanna get the Bitmoji app on your phone and you wanna set up your avatar there. So the Bitmoji extension on your computer is linked to the Bitmoji that you set up on your phone. So to be honest, I don't know if you can do it any other way, but I think that's the easiest way to do it. So you first get the app on your phone, set up your avatar, and then you're going to go to the Chrome Web Store. And if you haven't browsed around the Chrome Web Store, there's all kinds of add-ons and extensions that make your life easier. For example, so all of these little buttons that are up here in my toolbar, can you guys still see my screen?
Not anymore, Jen.
No?
No, yeah.
Am I not sharing anymore?
I just see your face.
What were you looking at? Just me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh my God.
You look great.
Video. This is going to be my best video yet. You guys, I'm super distracted. I have family that's, some people already heard, that's evacuated in Vacaville, and so
Oh, no.
I'm kind of distracted today, so bear with me. So now you can see my screen? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so all these little buttons up here that are added to my toolbar are different extensions that I've added from the Chrome Web Store. And so the Chrome Web Store has all kinds of great things. Like, for example, this is called Quick Create. It's called Google Quick Create. And so instead of having to go to my Drive, you can insert this, and when you click on it, you can immediately start a new document, sheet, presentation directly from this little button. So there's little things like that. There's things where you can get rid of the ads on your YouTube videos. You can block the ads on your YouTube videos. Screencastify is one of our extensions that you add. So there's all kinds of things that you can add. There's a clever, I mean, not a clever, there's what's it called? Zoom one where you can, book a meeting like right there from a little extension. So it's worth checking out. So let's see. The Bitmoji is going to be one of your extensions. And so when you add that Bitmoji, when I click on this, it's going to open up a little Bitmoji window in my browser. And I can, even from right here, if I wanted to put something in this document, right, I could drag it and I could add it directly into my document straight from the Bitmoji app or extension that I've added. So, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing to create the classroom. Or last year I didn't use it as a classroom that you could click on things. I really just made kind of a cute one as a banner for my Google Classroom. And so instead of having just a color or a photo, I had a cute Bitmoji little banner on my Google Classroom or on my website, right? So you could do that as well and not have it be this crazy clickable thing. You could just have it as a fun little, hey, here's me, welcome, kind of thing as well. So, so after you've gone to the web store and you've added that Bitmoji extension thing, you could see that mine just opened to mine immediately. The first time you click on it, it's probably going to ask you to log in with whichever account you use to get the app on, whatever you're logged in with on your phone. I think I even have this connected with my personal email, but I have it inserted into my school email, so it doesn't really matter. So these are the same emojis that if I'm texting you, or the same ones that are going to show up if I'm sending them to you in a text. The next thing you want to do, and I'm going to start out by talking a little bit about the whole classroom idea or banner idea, is that you want to start a new slideshow. So Google Slides is really the way to go, not Docs, and for sure. And so what you want to do is you want to start your new slideshow so you have a blank slide. And then you want to think about what you want your background to be. So a lot of people are searching for classroom backgrounds or office backgrounds. And so when I go to, you could either go, I guess the best place to go is right here under background, and I choose an image. If you want this to just be a banner for your website and you want it to be you laying on a beach with like your book and your lemonade and your umbrella and your, floaty, then you could search a beach background. If you want it to be a classroom, you could do that. If you want to be out in a garden, you could search for a garden background. I mean, there's really there's no limit to the possibilities for what you want to be, where you want to be. So if I do a Google image search, let's say I want to be in a classroom. So you could do classroom, and I do something like walls and floor background, because then you'll get kind of, you just like you would teach your students to be specific in their email search, in their Google search, you want to be as specific as possible. So you could flip through and you could see a background that you like. And maybe I don't even want to do the word. I'm not loving what's showing up, so I'm just going to do walls and floor background. And here I have some more choices. So, you can scroll through till you find something you like. And if you don't see something you like here, modify your search for your background. But the word background is helpful, I think. And I'll just pick the first one just to be time sensitive, and I've chosen my image and I'm all done, and it's now made the background of my whole slide that background. So now I can layer things on top of this, right? And so now it's really a matter, and this is the time consuming part, because everything is added as images, right? And so I'm gonna just insert images and I'm gonna search the web, and I need to move my little box thing. So I want to search images, and here's a really important part. You want to include the word transparent, because you don't want big blocky things that kind of have something with a square around it, right? So let's say I want to add another plant. I'm going to search for plant, transparent plant. And I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna look through all these options, and I'm like, all right, maybe I wanna add this potted plant. So I'm gonna click on that and insert it and try it out. And see how the wall shows through. It doesn't have like this box around it. So that's where searching transparent is gonna be important. You're gonna wanna resize it, and put it where you want it. And then you can, keep adding more. So if you want a poster, you can search insert an image. And let's say I want to, what am I doing? Searching the web. And I want, if it's just gonna be a poster, it doesn't really need to be transparent. So let's say I want Black Lives Matter poster hanging on my wall. So I'm gonna look here and I can search for one. And the other thing you can do, if you don't see something here that you like, you can take any sort of little screenshot and you can insert that image. So if I wanted to just screenshot a poster, then I could do that as well. Maybe this would look cool. If I could find something like this one where it looks like graffiti, I could just take a screenshot of that one little part that looks like graffiti, and I could paste that image on my brick wall if I wanted to, right? So, so if I wanted black software, I don't know what that is. Maybe I want this. It's gonna match my shirt because that image is on my little Bitmoji shirt. But let's say I want to put this on the wall, right? That looks a little weird because the bricks show, but then if I wanted to, I could put a little border around it and make it a poster, right? And you could, the options are endless. You can do anything you want. If I want a chair, and I'll just do one more thing and then I'll put my Bitmoji in. But if I want, so now I'm gonna do transparent chair. And I'm gonna pick this one and insert my chair. You could put in a desk, you could put in, bookshelves, you've seen them. People found even the like rainbow rugs that we have in every elementary school classroom. People found that image and like put the rug that we have at, all our schools in there. So you get the idea. I mean, the options are endless. That's why I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I want Christmas lights, or we had this bat on our balcony, and it was this whole saga, and my husband ended up having to get rabies shots because he took the bat to the Lindsay Wildlife Museum trying to save it, and they told him that he should get the shots and all this stuff. And I had told this story to my class, and so overnight I added a little bat to the rafters of my classroom. And so another fun thing to do is to like change a few things and then almost do it like those old magazines that were at the dentist office, where like there's two pictures and you have to notice the differences. So sometimes I'll make small changes and I'll tell the kids there's 3 changes in our classroom today. What are they? Who notices something that's different? And, give them like a week to get to know that scene, but then make little changes, and it can be kind of a little fun. Like, there's a pencil on the floor, but you moved it to the table, or, the yarn in your basket was green and now it's purple, or whatever you want to do. But it's just kind of a fun extra little thing to do. So once I have my classroom together, and again, this is like kind of a very sparse, lame room that for me to be in, but just to give you the idea, then I can drag myself in. So if I have the Bitmoji extension loaded and I want to be, making an announcement, I could grab this me standing here and I can drag it down, and I can, put myself in front of the poster that matches my shirt, you know, and then you could even insert a shape, and you could do your call out, and you could be making an announcement that you're yelling, you know, I can then, you know, make my little thing so that it's coming out of my microphone. And then you could insert the text box there and make your announcement. So if I want to add my, let's see, this like Zoom window thing is, I can't decide where I like it the best. So if I insert a text box here inside my thing, and then I could center my writing, and I could say, good morning, everyone, whatever you want to do. So then your little message could be there. So that's like a basic, you know, very basic idea of how the Bitmoji thing goes. What I do then is if I want to insert it as, you know, a banner or something, you have to kind of look up the dimensions of what the, you know, the Google Sites and Google Classroom are kind of weird dimensions. So you do have to think about that, because otherwise it's going to format it kind of strange. You'd have to do a little Google search, like Google Classroom banner dimensions, and then, you know, go to your slide setup, and then you could put in a custom thing and change the size. And then once you have it that way, you can download this as a JPEG or a PNG, I don't know, do you say PNG image? And you'd have it on your computer. And then just like any image, you could upload into change the image of your background. So that's kind of the basics. Now, the other thing is that if you do want this to become, you know, this cool, very interactive website, which I've seen some really incredible ones where people have, you know, have linked little books on a bookshelf to themselves reading that book as a read aloud. And, you know, I mean, you could have a little math board take you to a whole separate slide that's math stuff, or, you know, there's a million things you could do, which is why this, you know, can get kind of overwhelming. But if you do want it to become, you know, like, if you do want it to become a more interactive thing, you can make any of these images links, right? So let's say I want to link this poster to the Black Lives Matter page, then I can go in here and get that address. And, oops. And I can grab that address. I should have known just what it was, but I can grab that address, and then I can go back in here, and I can, once I have that image highlighted, I go to the little link button and then just paste in the place I want it to go. And now when my students look at this slide in present mode, if they click on that, it will bring them there. And so that's another fun thing you could do, even if it's just, you're not using it really as a classroom, but you want to have some of your images linked to something you're studying in class, or if you know, want to use it as a fun little, see if you can find what's linked to what, you could even link this plant to like some botany page, or you could link this chair to the IKEA chair section, you know, whatever you wanted to do, you could link those things. One thing to kind of be aware of is that because you have so many images, things are, and see how big this box is that's over me. And so then it's thinking about what's layered on top of what is important. And so if you're gonna have them link things, you have to be careful and test things out, and use this arrange tool is really helpful. And you can order things either in front or behind other things. So like if I'm not a link, but this poster is a link, I probably want to arrange this and bring that forward, so that when I go into present and they click on it, they're not just getting, you know, like an empty link. So if I want to test that out and make sure, I can put this in present mode. And I can, oh my gosh, I've moved the little banner so many times. I can click on this and see right now it's not working. I think that's because I'm in front of it, right? My box is in front of it. Now, if I clicked way up in the corner it took me to the page. So that just tells me that I need to do some rearranging and send, you know, this to the front and this to the back so that people can get to my click. And when you add a ton of stuff to your slides, that's going to become more and more important. So if I show you, you guys are going to laugh, but if I show you, if I just go to my drive, and I can show you the one I did for my website last year. And this one wasn't a clickable, linkable thing. It was just a fun page. But you can see that how many images I linked. And if I had wanted to make this take kids to different places, I would have had to, sorry you guys, I would have had to really work hard at having the right things. Let's see, to make the right things be out in front, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. And please feel free to jump in anytime. I know, and I apologize for my super, super slow internet. I don't know why it's not going where I want it to go. So, well, I won't waste your time with that. I will, maybe I'll show you on the district, on our EdTech site, you might have noticed that we have our newsletter that Rich and I are gonna try to send out about once a week, once school is up and running, with a new tip and a new website and just some kind of like very basic weekly things. We made that as a Google slide, and we made it linkable. So, geez, I'm so sorry. Anyone have any questions so far while this is loading? I'm sorry.
I have one, Jen. It's Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
I'm behind the flower. I was wondering, is there a way to have, or how do you put more than one avatar into the classroom?
So same person or different people?
So different people. We're thinking about for our first grade
Totally.
website.
Yeah, you know what I would do is that's a really good question. I would give all the people you want to be on there, make them all editors of the slideshow. So if you're working on the slide from your computer, your Bitmoji will be, will be up here in the little menu. But let's say Allie's, also wants to jump in your classroom. If she's working on the slide from her computer, then her little Bitmoji extension will have her as an avatar. So that's what Rich and I did, is we were both working. This is a shared slideshow. And so he added himself and I added myself, but we each just did it from our own computers.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. So here we kept things pretty easy to click on, not a lot of stuff layered in front of other stuff. So the things that we're going to want to be links are all kind of front and center. I don't have a big plant in front of a page that I'm going to want to be a link. So, the help button is a link to the help form. This will take you to Padlet. This takes you to a website. This is teaches you how to make a forced copy of something. This is, my Black Lives Matter poster. This takes you to, I don't know if you guys know the website, let me Google that for you. It's a very fun one to send people when they ask you questions that they could have Googled themselves. But so it just basically takes you to a Google search, which is kind of hilarious. But and so this is the website, this is the PD calendar, and then I'm gonna be posting like a little weekly teacher Flipgrid. So it's already linked if you guys wanna go share a highlight of your summer. You can tell us about a highlight of your summer and try out Flipgrid almost from like a student perspective. And so you can click there and do that. So you can see that we've kept this, I think fairly simple, and we haven't layered a lot of things in front of other things. And if you are going to have links, I would recommend that, just keeping your layout fairly simple. But if this is not going to be clickable, it's just going to be your world that you have posted at the top of your website, you can go nuts. It doesn't really matter if you have a million things kind of layered over other things. So the other thing, I'm not sure if there's anything else here that you want me to show you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Question, is it only clickable as a slide, or is it clickable? It probably is not clickable as a banner on Google Classroom, because that's just a picture.
Yeah, that's just inserting an image. So you'd have to embed it in your website or on Google Classroom as a slideshow and give kids access to it as a slideshow to have it be interactive.
And then on your site, when it was clickable, what did that look like? I know you can't show it, but is this like another place where they click on their website?
So are you talking about this one?
Well, no, I mean, I understand this is just a slide, but when you had something like this on your own classroom website, was it, I'm just trying to imagine what that looks like on a classroom website where you can click on different things.
Oh, well,
Homepage?
so, I mean, kind of, this is a website, so we just embedded it on our website, right? So it would look
Okay, it's just a picture down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just looks like a picture. And then when this website is in, its published view, that's when it's clickable. Like right now I have it in its editing view, but if I were to look at the published view, then you would be able to click on any of those things that are down here for you. So, or you could click this button and open it up, right? So it's going to take a minute to load. But if I click on anything here, now that it's in the published view, how do you force somebody to make a copy? See, here's a good example. Like I'm in front of that button.
Right.
And so I didn't test that out. So that's a good indication to me that I need to, like, if I click right in the corner, then it'll take me there. But
Gotcha.
I'll want to make sure I move that in front. And so that just brought me directly to that YouTube video. And so, you could also, I've seen teachers that link things on their front slide to other slides, right? So if you build a slideshow that is, and you have your bookshelf, and if your kids click on the bookshelf, it might take them to the reading page of the presentation, right? And so ours is pretty much taking you to outside.
Gotcha. But it could go to something on your website.
But you could also use this to navigate, and if you want to do that, you can. I don't know why it's not letting me get out of my present mode, so I'm gonna I'm like really not on my game.
It's fine.
There are days like that teaching, right?
Absolutely.
Like kind of off. So if you let me see, where are my slides? I'm going to go back to that slideshow again. If you want to link to another slide, instead of pasting in a website like I did, you can choose slides in your presentation and link from one slide to another.
Gotcha.
So, and we did that a little bit yesterday in the interactive notebook slideshow too, with our table of contents. We linked to I'm just kind of locked out, you guys. I don't know what's going on. So that's kind of the gist of the Bitmoji classrooms, or making a Bitmoji kind of slideshow. I did want to show you, and we'll see if my drive lets me do it, but I did make some I did make some Bitmoji stickers. Let's see if I can get to those, if my computer will let me. What is happening? Open.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
At some point, can you just real quick say how do you embed how would you embed the slideshow slide of that pretend classroom you just made in the Google Classroom?
Yeah, so I made that slideshow in my regular drive, and then all I would do to embed it here when I'm in, so I'll say two things. I would, if I was putting it in my site, my Google site, I would add it from my drive. So the button under insert for your drive, and you could just pick the slideshow that you created from within your drive. If you want to share it on Google Classroom, then same thing. You pick the link from your drive and decide. I would probably post it as material because it's not an assignment, and just add that, or you could even add it as a link to an announcement, and say, hey, check out our such and such, or yeah. Does that answer your question, Jessica? Is that
Yep.
good?
Yeah.
So the Bitmoji stickers is kind of a whole other use of Bitmojis, and that is just a matter of going, I actually did these in Google Drawings, and so I can show you. I was assigning everything 10 points in Google Classroom last year, just as kind of a little participation grade, just to kind of keep track of who had turned things in. And so I did one with 10 points, and you'll notice these now are uploaded to my drive as PNG files, but we can make one of these really quickly if you want to. And then what you can do is, because they're in your Google Drive, now if I'm in, let's say I'm in Google Classroom and I'm flipping through my students' work in Google Classroom, I can click on their document or their slideshow that they've turned in, and I can go to Insert, and I can insert this directly from my drive. And that's why I kept a little, so I could find them easily, I kept a little folder called Bitmoji stickers. So do you want to see how to do those real quick? So I would go to, I would create a new Google drawing, and I don't do a whole lot with drawings, but when I watched the tutorial on how to do this, it's what it told me to use. So I would go to Google Drawing, and I would change the size of your page, because you don't want to insert a huge giant, you don't want to insert a huge giant 8.5 by 11 kind of sticker for them. So you're going to just change your page setup and make it smaller. And I'm going to do custom, and I just want it really small. I want it like 3 by 3 or 2 by 2. You just want kind of a little small area to work with. And then, it's changed your little area into a little square to use. Then I'm going to insert my Bitmoji that I want to do. So if you want to do like, great job, whatever you want to say to your kids. So I'm going to insert this one, and way too big. So I'm going to take the corner and make it smaller. And insert it there. And then I'm going to put a background on it. So I'm going to make it almost like a sticker itself. So I'm going to put a sticker over me. And then I'm going to use that arrange tool to send that backward, and it puts me on top of the sticker. And I can change the color of my circle. If I don't want blue, I can change it to purple, whatever I want for my color. And then I'm going to download it as that PNG image, right? And it saved it down here. I don't know if you guys can see the corner, but it did save it. It was untitled. I should have titled it Killing It, like that would have been the smart thing to do. But then when I go back to my folder that I've done, I don't even need this one anymore. I'm going to delete it. That's the one I did to actually create it. But now within this Bitmoji thing, I'm going to do a file upload. And I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to find, it was an untitled drawing. And now I've added that little sticker to my kind of collection of stickers, right? So if I'm on my quick guide, and imagine that this is an essay that your student wrote, and you read through the whole essay and you want to give them some feedback. Now, because you have access to they've turned in their work, so you have editing access. So I can insert an image from my drive, and I can search my Bitmoji stickers, and it's going to open that folder, and I want to tell my student, awesome, you were killing it, and then insert it, and it inserts that little sticker. Now, it's the formatting, is a little weird. You don't want to put it you want to put it at the end of their work or somewhere where it's not going to then mess up all their text and everything. But you do have a little sticker here, and you can change the, just like any doc, you can wrap it within their text, or you can put it at the, the side or the end of their text. And that's why I think it's really good to make that drawing really small, make it I would even maybe make it smaller, 1 inch by 1 inch, or, you know, make it really small so that it's not going to be this big giant square that you're, you know, because it's going to make you really small if, you know, when you insert those little stickers. So you can play around with that as well. That is another idea with Bitmojis. Yeah.
So you have to do all that because you can't just insert it on a Google Doc. You know how on a Google slide, you just go to your Bitmoji icon and then they're all there, right? I can't hear you. You're muted. Can anybody hear Jen?
How did I get muted? Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Couldn't you just hit the Bitmoji icon and they're all there?
You're totally right. I don't know why you wouldn't just go to Bitmoji and let's see what happens if we want to do. So I'm on that same document and we're pretending this is the essay, and I'm going to grab that one and I'm just going to drop it on the document itself. You totally could. And then just change it. I don't know why. That's a really good point, Abby. I don't know why you'd want to make them stickers first. It seems like a lot of work when you could just,
like, wait a second, what am I missing here?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I make things harder for myself, but
I think there's some teachers that like the idea of the little circle, like really making it look like a sticker.
Sure.
Then it turns into more of like a digital sticker itself, and you could do different colors or whatever. But no, you're totally right. This is definitely a way to give feedback as well without it. Kim, did you have a thought about the?
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say exactly like you did. Some people just think it's more fun and cute. And that's the real
circle, like a sticker. Yeah. Middle schoolers aren't used to stickers anyway, so
I know.
I think the whole thing is so corny anyway. Like, oh my God, really, Miss Griffin? You don't look anything like that.
Yeah. So so that gives you kind of a general idea. I'm happy to share. I don't know why my Drive wasn't letting me open the one that I made for my website kind of background. Oh, I do want to show it to you if I can get it to load, because you can also animate these. That's really cool too. Like you can, so duplicate your slide like 10 times. And then you know, use that little running emoji. And on each slide, everything's the same, except you're dragging your little emoji on each slide a little further along your slide, right? And then maybe at the end you use the jumping one. I'll try to show you. And then there's another add-on for Google Slides called Creator Studio, and it allows you to turn your slides into a GIF or GIF or whatever you call them. So then when you upload that onto your website, you know, or into your classroom, there's some movement there as well. So I am.
Can you say the name of that add-on again?
That add-on is called Creator Studio, and it's really easy. It kind of walks you through each step. I'm gonna try one more time, you guys, and I apologize profusely for my horrible internet, but I am gonna try one more time to get to that folder in my Drive, and I don't, that has an animated, what I did to animate. And that's like, you know, next level. So. But they're pretty fun. And again, this stuff is all like super, super addictive. Oh, it's opening.
Okay.
And let's see, I think it's in here. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so here is, so here's my sites banner, and I made small changes to it. So the kids had to figure out, you know, every couple days I'd make some changes, but watch it load and see how many different things are layered on top of other things. Like those little flashing dots are all different images I added to a giant classroom. Now, in this classroom, nothing is linked, right? I didn't use it as a virtual classroom. I just used it as a little fun banner for my classroom. But I did duplicate it a couple times, you can see on the left, and I made little changes to it. And then I would just download the new one, upload it to my site, and then ask the kids to look for the changes. So you can see in this one, the yarns in the basket, the pencils on the floor, the paper airplanes on the floor. And when you click on the next one, the yarns in my lap, the pencils on the desk. I had moved the paper airplane to the recycling bin, and I asked the kids to notice how many changes they could find. And for the last couple weeks of school, I just made changes every day. My bear is drinking my tea, you know, just different little things that I did. Here's the bat hanging in the rafters. And you can see I took a picture of Ben and Stuart, and I just took a little snapshot of it, a little screenshot, and I put a border around it, and that turned into a photograph on my shelf. So that's the one that I did just as a fun little banner. And again, an insane amount of time for something that's just going to be at the top of your website, but also how inviting, right? To come to your website and to get all this about your teacher's personality from just looking at their page. Not, you know, it. So then if you wanted to animate it, you would take your slides and you duplicate them. And instead of moving little things around like I did in that last one, all I moved was the Bitmoji itself. So in the first one, I have, you know, me running in, and then just notice as I click on the other slides, I've moved a little bit, you know, I've just dragged that thing over a little bit each time. And then I sat down, then I jumped up, then I sat down again. So then there's these add-ons. And if you add the add-on called Creator Studio, and you just do click at, you know, get add-ons, and you add Creator Studio. Oh, and there it was. Creator Studio is going to help you create your animation, create a GIF from your slides. And it's going to take all your slides and turn them into, I think I have it here. It's going to have your little, you can see me. And I would add on new moves all the time, like jump. So, you know, I had one too, maybe I didn't save it, that had me, you know, the one of me running and stuff. I guess I didn't save as a thing here, but you kind of get the idea of, shoot, I closed that page. So you get the idea of how you could animate with that add-on, with that Creator Studio add-on. So I did have one that was for the summer that I put in where I was like at the beach, like I changed I changed it. So anyway, that's kind of the idea. They're fun. They're extra bells and whistles, and the whole classroom idea can be very time consuming, but you could also keep it very, you could keep it very simple as well. I don't know. Can you guys just, instead of me reading through, I'm feeling too out of it to like read through the chat. Can people just unmute and jump in with any questions that are haven't been answered? There's a ton of stuff on Bitmoji Classrooms online, you know, tutorials that really go step by step. There are lots of templates, you know, if you just search Bitmoji Classroom template, I bet there are ones you could just grab that are already pre-made, and that you could copy that slide. Remember, they're just slides. So just like you could copy any other slide, you could copy it, file, make a copy, and delete that teacher's Bitmoji and insert your own. So there's lots of fun, you know, things you can do with it.
Mm-hmm. Jen, Rebecca was telling me about Unscreen. Do you like you should use unscreen.com, but you didn't talk about that, and it seemed like an extra step. You don't need to use it.
I've never heard of that.
I think it takes the if your Bitmoji isn't transparent, it clears out the background.
Oh, very cool. You know, that actually would be helpful to look into, because there's a few times when, you know, my selection of which ones I can use is pretty limited because of the ones that don't have a whole background. Sometimes I like the motion that the thing is making, but not the words that are attached. So what was it called?
Unscreen.com.
Cool. I'll definitely check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if people want to talk about how they might use this. I'm just trying to, it seems very cool, but I don't know if I wanted to have the extra work. It seems like I'm making now I've never had a class website before. I did Google Classroom last year. just for extra resources, but it seems like it's starting to get very redundant.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand why they would have two different ways to link the same information. Like, let's say I wanted to get to the syllabus. Why get to the syllabus through my Bitmoji picture versus like a link that says syllabus?
Totally.
That's why people might use this.
Yeah, I mean, some other people might jump in, and to be honest, that's kind of why I made a fun one that was just a banner on my website, because my website had everything I wanted. So I didn't really feel the need, or didn't decide to set up my website in a way, that, I mean, I think it's just cute, I think it's a cute way to do what you are probably already doing, maybe if you had started with like this, then your website would have been, this whole thing would have been that front page, and then those links would have taken you to other parts of your website. Yeah, if you put time into building your website, then, I think if you have time and you want to make a cute one as a banner, but yeah.
But like, just some people make it so that the links are like all sort of optional things, so that, there are things that on my website that I want them to have to look at, right? And it seems like if you're putting that in your Bitmoji Classroom, that they could easily miss it.
Yeah, I mean, that's another way to address it, is just to have, all the stuff that's, essential, that is the stuff you really want them to see, to be on your website in other ways. And maybe eventually you build one of these that's like, go here for more fun things, like as you're collecting resources of things for your students to do if they're done with their work, or if they're bored, or if, maybe it becomes like a little library of extensions that's not essential, but that's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like Amanda wanted to answer, right?
I have a different similar question. So went down the rabbit hole, so much fun. I can have so many conversations texting, as you've seen with Bitmoji. So the monster was already created, and now she's in a classroom. So as I was working on it last night, I realized I've got 10 classrooms. And so I have the first cute classroom on ready in my slideshow to publish in my website. And I'm just going to start there. I really liked Google Classroom, so I'm not going to add a bunch of pages from my website yet. And I came out of your interactive notebook PD, thank you, and I placed composition notebooks, and I wanted to put a link on the composition notebooks to go to the Google Classroom, so that the kids could answer my first prompt that might be up on my dry erase board right? But then I got to the point where I realized I've got 10 classes. So I made little classroom plastic baskets and put arrows, I put all my classroom teachers, they had their own basket. And then I started to realize, then I made different slides for each grade level. One for Cornell 5th grade, one for Ocean View 5th grade, and one for my 4th graders. And so I think I'm making sense, but I probably need to make an appointment to figure out, I'd like them to be able to click on their classroom teacher's composition book to link that to their Google Classroom to get to the interactive notebook slide.
Right. So when students are logged in through their Albany account, when they click on anything that is linked to Google Classroom, it's going to take them to their own Google Classroom. It's not going to allow them to go to someone else's Google Classroom. Like, so you really, I think, only need to have one basket that's like, go here for you. You might need to have one for 4th and one for 5th. If you're giving different prompts, but I don't see why it would be necessary to have a separate, because those kids are going to be directly linked to their own Google Classroom, whoever their teacher is. If that makes sense. When I click on Google Classroom, it takes me to my Google Classroom. When you click on Google Classroom, I mean, just depending on who you're logged in as. So it seems like if you're wanting to link to Classroom, then one link would be fine.
Okay.
if that makes sense. But we can talk more for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll talk more, the two of us, but I'm figuring for middle school and high school, if you have numerous classes and you need to grade, and it's an academic subject, and I need to grade those, I'm going to want those organized for me, and not all of my teachers. I'm in some of their Google Classrooms, and some of them I have my own Google Classroom. So
that's
it can
complicated.
be,
Yeah.
yeah.
I personally, I would rather stick with assigning things on Google Classroom and have a Bitmoji world be more of like extra resources, fun games, side sites, you know, maybe a read aloud chapter. Like if I am posting a read aloud chapter every day, maybe that picture of the book takes them to my Google folder that has all my audio files for the read aloud chapter. I just really personally like to keep Google Classroom as the place I hand out work. And that's kind of, for me, that's just me personally. Like that's even why I don't even link assignments to my website. I just train the kids. Like I might make a note, like what I did was I said, you know, work on your interactive notebook today. And I would put a little GC after it in parentheses, and that indicated to the students that assignment is on Google Classroom. And I just point them toward Google Classroom for their like handing out the assignments. That's just personally how I liked to handle it. It was too much linking. It was like Abby said, why have 5 different places where you can access the exact same thing? I just think that starts to get confusing for you and for them. And so I just really had my website be my classroom whiteboard where I posted the schedule of the day, a message of the day, photos, fun things, resources. Google Classroom really stayed solely handing out papers. I didn't even post fun videos. All that stuff went on my website, and Google Classroom became the place where I handed out work. That was just how I handled it. So just something to think about, especially because you have so many different classrooms, right? And so if you're trying to link to so many different things, you know, maybe your website is really, you know, explains to them when you go to your Google Classroom, whether it's yours or the one that's joined with another teacher, that's where you're going to find the assignment itself. So yeah, I feel like this can make it more complicated, right? And you don't want to do that right now. I mean, it's really all about simplifying your life right now.
And kids.
And the kids, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to streamline their access to their work and to your information. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to disturb you. I'm trying to figure out basically about my different classes. My biggest mess during the, you know, being in the high school is receive all these projects, and when we are in Google Classroom going just to Spanish 1 or Spanish 2, I get all these 70 students, and later on, my idea was to streamline it so that way when I'm grading it there, it goes directly to the areas, right?
Yeah.
So do we have to make different classes? I mean, like for example, in Google Classroom for the Spanish 1, where for period 1, 5, and 6, something like that? Or
yeah,
suggestions?
I'm going to actually leave it to our middle school and high school teachers to talk, that maybe have used Google Classroom before, to talk about that, because being a primary teacher, I haven't personally set up multiple classes on Google Classroom, so I don't know if people that have had that experience could talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine. And the other one, if I had found a lot of beautiful slide presentation, but I didn't want to copy the whole thing. I just wanted to copy one particular one and add it to mine. How can we do that? Can we do that?
Yeah, you can do that. I'm going to share my screen again, and hopefully I'll be able to get to a slideshow. So,
thank you so much. And I love everything you're doing.
Oh,
I want
thank
to
you
be
so
a primary
much.
school teacher. I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much. So when I copy, I really appreciate that. So you'll see that this slideshow has, 20 something slides in it. But let's say I just want to copy one. When I click on slide number 1, you can see it's highlighted yellow. So then when I go to copy, it's just copying that slide. So then I can go to my other slideshow and paste in just that one. I can also copy, if I wanted to copy the whole thing, I could, shift and like hold down all the different slides, and I could copy all of those slides, and I could paste in whichever slides I wanted. So yeah, you can definitely just look for what's highlighted yellow over here on the side, and that's the slide you're copying. And you can pick one or more than one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew how to copy it within the same slide presentation, but I wanted to copy something into another one.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do a lot of things similar for Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, but I just didn't want to, I wanted to just copy one. But yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the PDs. I'm so crazy about all this.
You're so welcome.
Really. Can wait.
You're so welcome. Thank you. So anything else Bitmoji related, you guys?
I have a personal problem. I have a lot of problems, which you might be.
Should I stop recording? I don't know.
I have a lot of personal problems.
You want the world on YouTube to know about it.
Anybody else? That this is so stupid. I downloaded the extension and it just doesn't show up. On the little icon isn't there. So every time I go to upload it now, or not upload it, but I go to get that extension, it asks me to remove it as if I already have it. Does that happen to anybody else?
Do you have other extensions?
Yeah, probably.
So you might have too many up there, and it's like way over to the side.
You have to, you click on the side and then you'll see they're all down. That's mine too. I was looking for
one. Really? You can find it?
Or she didn't pin it, or she never pinned it.
And you might want to go through your extensions, and if there's ones you never, ever, ever use, you might want to remove them, just like cleaning up your drive or something, and just limit it to the ones so that the ones that really show are the ones that you use the most. Do you want to share your screen, Ab?
Sure. I'm sorry. People can log off if they want. They don't have this problem. This is really basic.
Well, I'll keep recording because other people might have the same issue, and then I'll see you as the guinea pig.
Oh, great. Okay, so see, here's my stuff.
Yeah.
It's not
all the way over to the right, all the way there. You see that jigsaw puzzle thing?
This?
All the way the black one.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click on that.
Oh my God. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Oh wait, we can't see it. I can't see it.
There it is.
There you go.
Found it. Hey, thanks. How do I know to click that jigsaw? Oh my God. Okay, great. Thanks. I don't think problem solved.
Awesome.
Oh, I was like, what is going on? I just kept downloading it and then taking it off, removing it and then taking it off.
Yeah. And you guys, if you're playing around with this, I'm really happy to hop on. I probably can't do that at this point now that we've added another day of PD. That means I have like less than 24 hours to get a couple new things ready for tomorrow, which is great because we're getting to cover things that we weren't going to have time to cover, but it just means that I don't have as much time for the like one-on-one questions. But
I can't one-on-one tutorial?
What?
I can't have a one-on-one tutorial for the next 6 hours? Please.
But I'm happy to jump in and help, starting next week, or, if you're working on these and run into problems, definitely send questions my way for sure.
Does anyone have a Bitmoji banner set up that they can share, or,
on Google Classroom?
Or willing to share? I just like to see other people's things.
I know too.
I'm gonna anybody can share the screen, so you guys hop in and I'm gonna try to find mine.
Well, I just wanted to.
Somebody offered Rebecca Springer's site. Is that true? Mimi? Because she had one. Mimi's, I don't know if she's still there.
I have a banner. Hi, Abby. Rebecca's sending it to you. I sent her a text, and you guys can just, if you, well, here, I'll share it. If you just send her an email at this, at AUSD, she will send it to you. And hers is like bells and whistles. Click on any object and it's a link or something crazy. So Abby, you're set, but if anyone else wants to see it, just contact her.
Yeah, her stuff is amazing. This was the banner I made heading into the summer, and I don't have the animated version ready, but I had, you know, my whole summer set up there, and then I animated me. I don't know if I can. Over on the side, you can see I start like running. I swing from like a vine at one point.
Oh my God.
So I like jump in the water. And so for the last like week of school, I added another little action each day, you know, so like, so it kind of built onto the animation over the course of the last week of school. And this is just the one I left up there on my website. So actually, I wonder if I go.
I wish that was my summer.
I know.
No, right? So maybe it's live here if I go to the actual website instead of the, I know that's so not my summer. My summer has been, yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I'm brokenhearted. I wanted to attend and I put it down at the wrong time in my calendar.
Oh, Linda, I'm so sorry, but I recorded this all. So I'm gonna upload it to the website and I'll send you an email as soon as it's live up there. You can see how slow my internet is. I actually have to drive down and sit outside the high school to use the Wi-Fi to upload videos. So I'll do that later this afternoon and I'll email you when it's ready to go.
Really appreciate that. I'm really
yes.
So
Nope.
Linda, you don't have a Bitmoji yet? I thought you had one, no?
I don't. Is it anything like Pixton?
I think
well, I mean, they're animated characters, if that's what you're talking about, but
it's more robust and has a lot. You can do a lot more with it, right?
Right, you can use it other places. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, you can link to things and have it be a little bit more interactive. This is not.
Really, I really want to try to. It just occurred to me that I want to try to mimic some of the embodied learning that I have in my classroom. You know, all of the meaning that their spaces create that, you know, is kind of lost now.
Yeah. I think we're almost there. Kim, hold tight. This is the website I used last year, you know, from March through the end of the year. And it's trying to load.
Yeah, I made a banner myself a couple months ago. I haven't looked at it recently, but I like to look at everybody's, get more ideas and inspiration.
Are you saying you made a banner for your Google Classroom?
Correct.
Oh, I want to see that. Can you show it to me? Nice eye roll.
Share yours, Kim, while mine loads.
Yeah, come on, Kim.
I'm confident enough. I haven't looked at it in a couple months. It was my first and only time ever working with Bitmoji. Let me go review it before I put myself out there. Okay.
So
it's still loading.
So Jen, this is where you put your Bitmoji classroom. Is on a Google site? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, I didn't use it as in an interactive way last year. I didn't have it link kids to other places. I had already, by the time I realized, you know, like kind of saw it as an option, I had already pretty much well established what my site looked like and where kids could find different things. And I didn't want to just totally change the format of where they were finding stuff. I thought they were adorable and I wanted to try one out. So I just made one and then made it the banner of my site. But I haven't used one other than the the new EdTech newsletter that's at the bottom of the EdTech resources page. I haven't used one in an interactive way up until then.
I think it's too late to get that going between now and next week.
Well, it's still not loading. You know, you could give yourself a time limit and be like, okay, I'm willing to, you know, put in 2 hours and see how long this is really taking me. And if I make good progress in that amount of time, then I'll keep going. And if it really feels like this is a time suck, that it's just not the best use of my time, then you could kind of abandon it for now and build it over time. Like, or you could, you know, start with it super simple. That's the other really nice thing is you could start with something really simple that's like got a couple of things embedded and a couple of links. Oh, that's so cute. That is,
I'm sharing Rebecca's. I hope that's okay, Rebecca. I know she's not even here, but she just sent it to me. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I don't know how she made
crazy. It's so crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, cool. Actually, that gives me a good idea. The video is pretty cool. I would like to do that.
Yeah.
I like her drinking coffee. That's awesome.
Wow.
I don't know how she did that. She must have used some other kind of Bitmoji, like avatar add-on.
Oh,
or
you know what?
something.
She used Snapchat with it.
Oh.
Really?
So it was super complicated when she was explaining it. And so if you look at mine, my thing is just like waves. no Bitmojis, it's just waves. But I was impressed by this.
Yeah, it is very cool.
So you kind of have to just click around to see what's clickable, right? There's no easy, like these guys are not.
No, that's clickable. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that's all part of what she's going to be talking through with her students, you know, and like giving them a tour of.
Oh, this is confidential. Oh, this is getting recorded. Sorry. I'll close my screen. Thank you, Rebecca.
Not come late and break in and, you know.
Oh, here's mine loaded. I'll share with you my the one I just used as a banner. It had no purpose other than being cute, really. I mean,
Can you steal other people's, work? Meaning, what I mean is, can I go on that gorgeous Bitmoji Classroom and copy parts of it? Or is it, is the author,
good question.
Does the author have the only way to use it, or you can riff off of other people's?
I think that in general, I think ed tech is a pretty sharing community. I think that people that are creating this kind of stuff are in general happy to share things. I think if you search Bitmoji Classroom template online, you might find some good ones you could copy. And I certainly think that, it's just a matter of asking. That's Rebecca Sprenger. She's third grade at Ocean View, and she's been super, willing to share all of her stuff. So I think just a quick email saying, hey, could I grab parts of it? Or, I mean, I wish we had more time in like May, June to kind of be thinking forward, because then, people that were really expert at this could create a template for their grade level or their, and then, and develop kind of something. And then you could, if you're a collaborator, even on a website, then you can make a copy of that website, right? And then you could tweak it from there. So it would be really nice to, if we had the time and the forethought to, kind of centralize some of this stuff, and then not everybody is starting from square one.
I'm planning on going to my Facebook group for French teachers and checking that out, because that, I think that would probably take me in the right direction.
Oh, totally. Yeah, Facebook is a great place to search, and Twitter is a great place to search too for lots of ed tech templates. And if you even went and just searched French class, Bitmoji Classroom, who knows? There's probably all kinds of stuff out there.
So Jen, when you showed your banner, where was that banner? Because when I put the banner in my Google Classroom, it has now like a black film over it.
Yeah, this was a Google website, not Classroom, but a website. Yeah, I didn't use I don't think I used the banner on Classroom. I think I just used it on sites.
So my kids were working off of my Google Classroom in the spring, and how do you coordinate a Bitmoji Classroom with Google Classroom? What is embedded in what?
Well, I mean, it really totally is kind of an individual teacher preference on how you want to manage it. Like I was talking, I think during the sites and classroom PDs about, how I did it, is I really had the website be kind of, I think of it as my physical classroom. Like that is the place that I make welcoming. You guys know Google Classroom, it's very sterile. Things get lost very easily. You could post a welcome message and then later post, a math test, and, depending on when the kid logs in, the first thing they see is their math test, not the welcome message. And so my kids always started the morning on the website, and that's where I had a welcome message, maybe a photo, video, all that warm, fuzzy stuff that creates community. and they really knew just to go to Google Classroom to get their assignments. It was like where I handed out the work. I didn't make announcements there. I didn't, you know, I just kept it simply, that's where you go to get your work. So if you were doing a Bitmoji Classroom as a slideshow, you know, that's what I would think of as like your welcoming, comfy, fun environment that changes and shows your personality and your creativity. And your classroom is just your feed for handing out work. I mean, that's kind of how I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amanda?
I think I'm still trying to wrap around the partnership between the Google Classroom and the website, and a specialist position in the elementary school or the middle school and the high school having so many students and so many classrooms. And I like what you're saying in terms of the website or the Bitmoji Classroom being the place where the kids start their day. And so if they're starting their day in their classroom, if they're in their classroom teacher's classroom, and then it's time for science, and their classroom teacher, they know the schedule, they click on Ms. Cohen's science room, the link on their classroom teacher, and then that takes them to my Bitmoji Classroom. And then in my Bitmoji Classroom, there's an announcement and links for where to go. And if it happens to be a Google Classroom assignment, then there's a link for them to press, and they go to the Google Classroom and they get the assignment.
Yeah.
Or they click on their composition book and they go straight to their interactive notebook from that click.
Yeah.
I like that description that you and Rebecca are using, that it's just a drawer where you're keeping your work.
Yep.
And the Google Classroom is where they report to first, like they would in our normal classroom.
Right. Yeah, and another thing I would think to help specialists as well is to ask the teachers you're working with to put your links on their Clever page, so their students can get to your website or your Bitmoji Classroom or whatever it is you're using from within their teacher's Clever page. So if we're encouraging elementary students especially to use Clever as their point of entry for the day, then anything they need, their PE website, but those kids are linked to their classroom teacher, not to all their specialists. But it's an easy as you emailing those teachers and saying, hey, can you upload this to your Clever page as Miss Amanda's web science class? And then that kid within their Clever portal can go to music, they can go to PE, they can go to science, they can go to all the different websites that they need to go to. And it gets a little less confusing, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I think, maybe stop recording.